what Pushkar said was absolutely right. The recipe for disaster is to fit in the key account into a sales team, right? While you would sort of have tasks forces within the teams, within your sales team. So you have a hospital task force, or you have a respiratory task force, and you're handling the accounts and so on and so forth. Trust me, that's not, I mean, it's very preliminary stages of actually doing key account management we're talking about, right? It used to be that couple of years back where we had these task force, and where I see what works best, or what works where there is a clear-cut accountability, is when you have a clear sales team which is responsible for demand generation and which is responsible for HCP facing, and the brands are sitting there. And you have what is known as the demand fulfillment team, which could also be your key account management team, right? So these are the folks who manage the channels, the account that we talk. So they don't manage the HCPs, they don't manage the demand, but they manage the account per se. So from an account per se, your key account management team, if you have a separate dedicated team, who is the business owner for that account, it works the best. Right? Now, how do you have the KPIs which are not sort of overlapping and which are not sort of, so like what you mentioned earlier as well, right? We have, so there are what we call as the lag KPIs and the lead KPIs, right? So the lag KPIs are clearly the volume, the revenue, the profitable growth, the cross-selling, upselling, the market share, so on and so forth. But we also have a lot of tools which are now available, and which you were mentioning, Vivek, is about your customer satisfaction scores, right? So what we're talking about, the voice of the customer, the customer lifetime value scores, the net promoter scores, these are now easily available. They were not really, matured a couple of years back, but we have that in place now. So when you have a clear-cut accountability of what the sales, and it's easier to get a sales team's accountabilities and KPIs. It's you've got to do, this is your budget. You're judged by a number. Right, these are the products, this is the activities that you've got to do, the lead parameters, so on and so forth. It's slightly I won't say it's difficult, but it's not so simple as it seems in the sales team. So what works the best, in my opinion, is when you have a separate dedicated, who is a business owner for that account.
I know we're talking about value and partnership, but at the end of the day, if we speak about India, the constraint that all the accounts are facing is mostly the financials and the treatment and basically the standard of care of treatment. So that's the elephant in the room. And while we speak that about value creation and co-creation, I think that has to be addressed somewhere, and the KPIs has to be somewhere flowing in from that. I'll give you an example. So let's say we have three broad categories. We have either generics, branded generics, or innovation-based medication, right? So if we take an example of innovation-based medication, value economic story and the cost economics, and how do you convince them that how it's going to help them manage their budget, or why it's going to be beneficial for a patient, is something that actually is going to be a KPI from my perspective for the CAM and the force, and also the account, because at the end of the day, the account is answerable on how are they managing the budget and how still they want to take the best of the treatment, right? So if I see it very simplistically, you cannot avoid it. You have to discuss it. You have to keep it with you. While along the journey, you're also partnering with them in other aspects which probably they would love to develop, whether it's about collaboration in awareness, collaboration in education, collaboration kind of passing the benefits to the patient in multiple perspectives.